So do you guys coach people who don't have type 1 diabetes? Because it feels like it's a program that other people could kind of jump into. Is the way you eat fine for someone who doesn't have type 1 diabetes?
Yeah. So, okay, I'm glad you brought this up here because we're both living with type 1 diabetes, as we explained. But the mastering diabetes and what we've researched and what we've sort of learned and applied to thousands of people over the course of time is not just about type 1. Type 1 is a very small component of what we do. We help people mainly living with prediabetes and type 2 diabetes because that's just the majority of the diabetes population. And then in addition to that, we also help people who have gestational diabetes and then people who have what's called type 1.5 diabetes, which is basically an adult onset version of type 1 diabetes. Okay. So any form of diabetes, we got you covered. We know the game inside and out and we can help for sure. But then your question is, well, what if you don't have diabetes, right? What if you're just a regular person trying to improve their health? And the answer is we also help a lot of people who are trying to lose weight because weight loss tends to be, something that a lot of people are looking forward to. So when you reverse insulin resistance using a plant-based diet the way that we describe, weight loss becomes almost inevitable. It happens in the overwhelming majority of all of the people that we help. As a result of that, we think of weight loss as being basically like a really convenient side effect of, reversing insulin resistance, right? So technically speaking, right now it's only a diabetes coaching program with, an emphasis on weight loss. But into the future, I can't really go into too much detail about this, but into the future, we are going to be opening other programs that are going to be helping people that are living with other conditions that are outside of diabetes. So the answer is, if you're interested, then I would recommend maybe, get on our email list at masteringdiabetes.org, and we will definitely keep you abreast of these opportunities as they roll around. And I'm intentionally being a little bit vague right now because I have to be, but things are likely to happen in the future for sure.
But no, I love that. I think it's great. I think just even people, they're going to listen to this and be like, wow, like this is extremely informative for their own personal health, even if they don't have type 1 diabetes or any form of it. I think my next question is, I'm not anywhere near as bad as I was, but someone who would feel symptom and Google, what are just some of the things that people can feel if they weren't feeling that dehydration that you were feeling, Cyrus, or like those little things that people need to look out for if we can help them, kind of like find those symptoms before it gets a little as bad as yours was at the time?
Sean, I'm glad you asked this question because insulin resistance, I'm going to go out and guess, applies to about 90% of the people who are listening to this podcast, whether you have diabetes or not, okay? So what you have to understand is insulin resistance is the cause of prediabetes and type 2 diabetes. And in the US alone, we have over 100 million people living with prediabetes or type 2 diabetes. Over 80 million have prediabetes and don't even know it. But before you get to prediabetes, you're insulin resistant. So that's the precursor to getting prediabetes. And that's a vast majority of our population. So if you have any challenges right now losing weight, the information in our book and how to maximize insulin sensitivity applies to you. If you have high blood pressure, high cholesterol, high triglycerides, fatty liver disease, chronic kidney disease, retinopathy, neuropathy, you're having some cognitive problems, also now known as type 3 diabetes. If any of that applies to you, if you have any skin challenges, this is a warning sign. These are all warning signs that you may be living with insulin resistance, and it's time to turn that around because the sooner you take care of it, the faster you can actually get this completely out of your life and prevent the complications of actually becoming type 2 and letting it progress to a point where it can reverse it, which is possible. But this applies to a large percent of the population, just like Cyrus said. That's why, there will be other opportunities for people to come into our program under, different titles because insulin resistance applies to just about the entire population.